Imagine having a mind so unshakable that no insult, no failure, no setback can break it. A mind that doesn't flinch under pressure, like a seasoned poker player with the perfect hand. This isn't about pretending to be tough, it's about actually becoming unbreakable. Buddhism teaches that real strength isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about mastering them, bending them to your will like a seasoned blacksmith forging steel. What if instead of being ruled by stress, you could command it? Instead of being knocked down by fear, you could turn it into fuel. Today, we're diving into 10 battle tested Buddhist principles that will transform the way you handle life's chaos. These aren't vague self help tips, they're tactical tools, mental armor against stress, self doubt, and emotional meltdowns. Ever felt like life keeps pulling the rug from under you? Ever wondered why some people stay calm under pressure while others unravel? Stick with me. By the end, you'll know exactly how to train your mind to be so resilient that nothing, not criticism, not failure, not even that one relative who never stops complaining, can shake you. Let's start with one of the most underrated superpowers, the pause, the art of controlled reaction. In Buddhism, mastering the pause is considered a sign of true wisdom. It's the gap between impulse and action, the difference between making a smart move and making a mess. Think of it like driving on a highway. If you slam the brakes every time someone cuts you off, you'll end up in a wreck, physically and mentally. But if you pause, assess the situation, and respond strategically, you stay in control. The same applies to your emotions. When anger rises, when fear whispers in your ear, when frustration kicks in, pause, breathe, observe. Picture a warrior in battle. If they swing their sword without thinking, they leave themselves open to attack. But if they wait, read their opponent, and strike with precision, they dominate. Life is no different. Your biggest enemy? Knee-jerk reactions. The power of the pause turns emotional chaos into calculated action. Instead of regretting a hasty decision, you make the right one. Instead of lashing out, you outthink the situation. And that, my friend, is how you start building a mind that can't be broken. A pause isn't just silence, it's It's power. It's that split-second window where you decide whether to be ruled by emotions or to rule over them. Picture a warrior in battle. If they swing wildly at every attack, they leave themselves open and exhausted. But if they wait, analyze, and strike with precision, they remain dominant. Now apply this to your emotions. When anger flares up, when anxiety tightens its grip, when frustration tempts you to lash out, don't. Instead, inhale deeply, step back, and let logic take the wheel. Ask yourself, will reacting help or make things worse? Am I thinking clearly, or am I letting fleeting emotions dictate my next move? Science backs this up. Studies show that emotional responses last a mere 90 seconds unless we fuel them further. That moment of pause, that's your reset button. You either control the impulse, or it controls you. The more you master this, the less anyone or anything can shake you. Strength isn't in reacting faster, it's in responding smarter. Now let's level up. Every criticism, every insult, every attempt to tear you down is a test, a chance to sharpen your mental armor. Buddhism teaches that real strength doesn't come from dodging negativity, but from using it to build resilience. Think about the Buddha himself, mocked, ridiculed, challenged at every turn. But did he break? No, because he understood one simple truth. An insult has no weight unless you choose to carry it. Think about social media trolls. They thrive on reaction. The moment you engage, they win. But if you don't flinch, if you treat their words like background noise, you strip them of their power. The same goes for real life. People will project their insecurities onto you, trying to trigger a reaction. But here's the trick. If you see their words as mere sounds with no meaning, they lose all impact. You're not avoiding conflict, you're rising above it. And that, my friend, is a power few possess. Imagine your mind as a fortress, not one built of stone, but of conviction. It only crumbles when you hand over the keys. If the foundation is weak, even the smallest storm can bring it down. But when it's solid, no force, no insult, no betrayal, no hardship can shake it. Every challenge you face isn't an attack. It's a stress test, an opportunity to reinforce your strength. Instead of reacting with anger or doubt, ask yourself, is this breaking me or is it sharpening me? Buddhism teaches detachment from the ego, and here's why. The more you let go of the need for approval, the less control negativity has over you. Picture this, Someone throws insults your way expecting a reaction, but instead of taking the bait, you watch their words drift past, like dry leaves caught in the wind. They come, they go, but they don't touch you. That's real power. Not in fighting every battle, but in choosing which ones even deserve your energy. When you master this, you don't just survive the chaos, you become untouchable within it. Next, learn to welcome discomfort like an elite warrior. Buddhism doesn't teach avoidance, it teaches endurance. Real strength isn't in dodging hardship, but in meeting it head on, using it as raw material for transformation. Think of Navy SEALs. Do they build resilience by staying comfortable? No. They put themselves through hell so that when real adversity strikes, they're already prepared. Your mind works the same way. Life throws punches, rejection, failure, uncertainty, loneliness. Most people drown these feelings in distractions, scrolling endlessly, binge watching, numbing themselves with momentary pleasures. But the truth? Every bit of suffering you avoid is a lesson you postpone. The Buddha taught that suffering isn't the enemy, your resistance to it is. The moment you stop running from discomfort and start facing it, you strip it of its power. You stop fearing pain because you've trained yourself to endure it, and once that happens, you become the kind of person who doesn't just survive tough times, you thrive in them. Turn discomfort into your personal boot camp. When frustration bubbles up, don't push it away, study it. When anxiety creeps in, don't numb it, sit with it. The moment you stop fighting discomfort, it loses its power over you. Think about it. Why do Buddhist monks spend hours meditating in silence? Not because they enjoy sitting like statues, but because they're training their minds to stay steady in any storm. Just like an elite soldier endures brutal training to become unshakable in combat, you can condition your mind to handle anything life throws at you. Start small, stand in that long grocery line without pulling out your phone, sit with boredom instead of running from it, and when stress knocks, don't immediately drown it in distractions. Over time, discomfort stops being your enemy and becomes your greatest teacher, and in return, you gain something most people never do, complete control over your emotions. 4. Flip the script on your problems and turn them into rocket fuel for growth. Buddhism teaches that suffering isn't about what happens to us, it's about how we interpret it. The same event can be a curse to one person and a breakthrough to another. It's all about perspective. Picture two people getting laid off. One spirals into self-pity, convinced life is over. The other sees it as a green light to chase a better opportunity. Same situation, different mindset. One is trapped, the other is free. This isn't some feel-good theory, it's psychological fact. The human brain constantly rewires itself based on how we respond to setbacks. Train yourself to see obstacles as stepping stones, and soon nothing will feel like a dead end, just a new path waiting to be explored. Whenever life throws a punch, ask yourself, how can this work in my favor? What lesson is hiding in this mess? How can this make me stronger? Instead of spiraling into why me mode, flip the script. This is happening for me. Every setback, every tough moment is a hidden training session for your resilience. The Buddha wasn't exempt from struggle, rejection, betrayal, loss, but he didn't waste time resisting. He turned every hardship into wisdom. When you start treating obstacles as stepping stones instead of roadblocks, nothing can break you. Once you master this mindset shift, life stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling like a challenge. You're built to win. Every difficulty becomes an opportunity the moment you decide to see it that way. 5. Turn emotions into fuel. Buddhism sees emotions as energy, neutral forces that only gain power when we cling to them. The goal isn't to suppress what you feel, but to repurpose it. This is emotional transmutation, the art of redirecting emotions like anger, fear, or frustration into something useful, like wisdom, focus, or pure unstoppable drive. Think of fire. It can burn down a house or keep you warm. It all depends on how you use it. Your emotions work the same way. Anger, don't let it blind you. Use it to fuel action. Fear, instead of freezing, let it sharpen your instincts. The Buddha taught that suffering isn't caused by emotions themselves, but by our attachment to them. Instead of saying, I'm angry, try, anger is present, but it's not me. The moment you detach from the feeling, you take control over it. That's where transformation happens. A monk doesn't quit meditation because he's frustrated. He leans in deeper. A warrior doesn't back down because he's afraid. He uses that fear to become sharper. You can do the same. When emotions surge, don't drown in them. Redirect them. Next time you feel overwhelmed, stop and ask, how can I use this energy to my advantage? Once you master this, no emotion will ever control you again. 6. Master the art of emotional immunity. Ever notice how some people crumble at the slightest inconvenience while others walk through chaos like it's a Sunday stroll? The secret isn't luck, it's detachment. Buddhism teaches that suffering doesn't come from what happens to you, but from how you react to it. Imagine watching your emotions like a movie, without jumping into the screen. That's the power of the detached observer. Instead of getting tangled in every worry, every insult, every fleeting irritation, you step back and watch. Picture yourself sitting by a river. Thoughts and emotions float by like leaves. Stress drifting away. That rude comment from earlier? Floating downstream. You don't chase the leaves, you don't dive in. You just watch. The moment you stop grabbing at emotions, they lose their grip on you. Now think about this. When someone insults you, what really happens? Words leave their mouth. Vibrations hit the air. That's it. The only reason it stings is because you give those words permission to hurt. The Buddha had it figured out. Nobody can break your peace unless you hand them the hammer. So the next time life throws chaos your way, pause. Observe. Watch your emotions like a scientist studying an experiment. Don't react. Just notice. The more you do this, the more unshakable you become. It's not about suppressing emotions. It's about refusing to be ruled by them. 7. Build mental toughness with emotional fasting. We fast from food to cleanse the body, but have you ever tried fasting from emotional indulgence? Most people are emotionally dependent, on comfort, on praise, on external validation. They binge on distractions the moment discomfort arises. But real strength, that comes from going without. Ever noticed how people scroll mindlessly the second boredom hits? Or drown stress in junk food? That's emotional attachment at work. Buddhism teaches that attachment to comfort makes you fragile. The more you rely on emotional crutches, the weaker your mind becomes. Start small. Sit with discomfort instead of escaping it. Delay gratification. Resist the urge to vent every frustration. These are the mental push-ups that build resilience. Because here's the truth. The strongest minds aren't the ones that avoid struggle. They're the ones that train in it. 7. The mental detox you didn't know you needed. Ever tried fasting? No food, no snacks, just you and your stomach negotiating peace treaties. It's tough, but it builds resilience. Now imagine doing the same thing, but with your emotions. Emotional fasting is exactly that, training your mind to function without constant emotional snacks. We live in a world where people chase validation like it's oxygen. Need a confidence boost? Check social media. Feeling bored? Open Netflix. Stressed? Grab junk food. It's a never-ending cycle of emotional hand-holding. But here's the problem. When life actually tests you, those crutches disappear, and suddenly you're left unprepared. Buddhism teaches that true strength comes from breaking this dependency, learning to be content without clinging to fleeting pleasures. Emotional fasting is about rewiring your mind to stand on its own 2 feet. Start by identifying your biggest emotional addictions. Do you check your phone every 5 minutes for reassurance? Do you use entertainment as an escape from discomfort? Do your emotions control your reactions instead of the other way around? The key is to step back, sit in silence, resist the urge to numb yourself the second discomfort creeps in. Watch your emotions instead of feeding them. Monks have mastered this. They don't chase distractions, luxuries, or external approval. Their peace isn't for sale. Their strength? Built in silence, in simplicity, in discipline. They don't need a dopamine hit to feel whole, because they've trained their minds to generate their own peace. The real question is, can you? 7. The unshakable mindset. Want real strength? Try sitting with discomfort instead of running from it. No distractions, no quick fixes, just you and your thoughts battling it out. That's emotional fasting. It's the mental version of going to the gym, except instead of lifting weights, you're lifting your own self-control. When you cut down on instant gratification, something powerful happens. You stop being a puppet to your emotions. You stop craving validation, needing entertainment to fill the silence, or scrambling for distractions when life feels uncomfortable. Instead, you train your mind to hold steady. No more knee-jerk reactions. No more letting the outside world dictate your inner peace. Over time, this practice turns your mind into a fortress, solid, grounded, unshakable. Because here's the truth. The strongest people aren't the ones who never feel emotions. They're the ones who refuse to be ruled by them. 8. Master the art of non-reaction. If someone throws a match into a pool of gasoline, what happens? Boom. Explosion. That's how most people react to life. They let every inconvenience, every rude comment, every minor setback set them off. But here's the kicker. You're not gasoline. You don't have to ignite just because something tries to light you up. Buddhism teaches that self-mastery isn't about controlling the world. It's about controlling your response to it. Life will test you. People will provoke you. Situations will push your patience to the edge. But the moment you stop reacting, you strip negativity of its power. Think about it. Most people live on autopilot. Someone insults them, they lash out. Something goes wrong, they complain. But every time you react impulsively, you're handing over control. You're saying, here, take my peace, take my focus, take my energy. Why give anyone that power? Non-reaction isn't weakness, it's the ultimate flex. Because the one who stays calm while everyone else loses their mind, that's the person who truly holds the power. The real question is, can you do it? The ultimate power move, non-reaction. Imagine trying to start a fire with wet wood. No matter how much you try, it just won't ignite. That's what happens when someone tries to provoke you and gets nothing in return. Their negativity fizzles out. No drama, no reaction, just pure silence. And nothing frustrates toxic people more than that. Buddhist monks understand this well. They don't let emotions dictate their actions. Instead, they observe, like watching a storm roll in, knowing it will eventually pass. The key isn't about suppressing emotions or avoiding necessary confrontation. It's about responding with control, not impulse. Next time someone insults you, don't rush to defend yourself. Pause. Ask yourself, is this actually important or is it just my ego throwing a tantrum? When frustration kicks in, instead of reacting, watch it like a cloud drifting across the sky. The more you practice, the more power you gain over your own mind. The truth? No one makes you react. No one forces you to get angry, offended, or frustrated. That's all you. And once you grasp that, you become untouchable. Because the person who controls their emotions controls the entire situation. Dark visualization, strength in the shadows. Most people avoid thinking about worst-case scenarios. They act like bad times will never come, until they do, and suddenly they're blindsided. But what if instead of running from fear, you trained yourself to face it head-on? What if you conditioned your mind to be stronger than the struggle? That's the power of dark visualization. Instead of pretending bad things won't happen, you prepare for them. Stoic philosophers and Buddhist monks have done this for centuries, not to make themselves miserable, but to strip fear of its power. They meditate on loss, rejection, and even death, not as a morbid exercise, but as mental armor. Because when you've already faced something in your mind 1,000 times, it doesn't break you when it happens in real life. Here's the reality. Life will test you. Hardships will come. The question is, will you be ready? The art of mental armor, how to become unshakable. The Buddha didn't sugarcoat life. Suffering is inevitable. But here's the catch. The more you resist it, the stronger it gets. You can either spend your life flinching at every setback, or you can train your mind to stare hardship in the face and say, I knew you were coming. This is where dark visualization changes the game. Instead of fearing failure, you pre-experience it. Instead of dreading loss, you appreciate what you have while it's still here. And when you've confronted your own mortality, you stop wasting time on meaningless distractions. Everything sharpens. Everything matters. Think about it. When you mentally prepare for betrayal, rejection, or criticism, you strip them of their ability to wreck you. You stop taking things personally. You stop reacting like the world owes you kindness. And when adversity does hit, instead of breaking, you simply nod, because you've already fought that battle in your mind 1,000 times. This isn't about inviting suffering, it's about immunizing yourself against it. How warriors, monks, and leaders stay unbreakable. Throughout history, the strongest minds, warriors, Buddhist monks, even modern-day leaders, have all relied on this technique. When the world is losing its head, they remain composed because they've already mentally rehearsed the chaos. While others panic, they execute. And you can do the same. Start small. Every day, take a few minutes to visualize something tough. Losing a job, facing public failure, getting rejected. But here's the key. Don't just picture the pain. Picture yourself handling it like a master, strong, calm, untouchable. Feel the emotions, acknowledge them, and then let them go. Because when the real thing happens, you won't be weak, paralyzed, or caught off guard. You'll be ready. Why some people never break and how you can be one of them. Here's the truth. Life doesn't hand out immunity passes for suffering. Storms will come, losses will happen, but the real question is, are you built to withstand them? See, most people hope for smooth sailing, but the unshakable ones, they prepare for war, and because they expect hardship, nothing catches them off guard. They don't break, they don't crumble, they adapt. The power of a life code, your mental cheat code for stability. Buddhism teaches that real strength doesn't come from fleeting motivation or hype. It comes from having an unshakable internal code, a set of principles so deeply ingrained in you that no amount of external pressure can shake them. Without a personal philosophy, most people drift through life, reacting impulsively, chasing trends, letting emotions dictate their actions. One bad day ruins their mood. One harsh comment shatters their confidence. But those with a life code, they move differently. They don't react to life, they navigate it. Think of it like this. Imagine a boxer who steps into the ring with no strategy. The moment they take a hit, they panic. But a fighter with a plan? They expect the blows, roll with them, and strike back with precision. That's what a personal code does. It gives you a game plan for life. How to build a life code that makes you unbreakable. A life code isn't just about having good values. It's an internal contract, a non-negotiable set of rules that guide your decisions, even when you don't feel like following them. It's what keeps you disciplined when motivation runs dry. Buddhism's Eightfold Path is built on this idea, a moral framework designed to cultivate wisdom, integrity, and inner peace. It's not about external rules, it's about mastering yourself. Because when you know who you are and what you stand for, life's chaos doesn't shake you. You already know how you'll respond before the challenge even arrives. So ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be? What are my non-negotiable principles? How do I choose to handle adversity? Write them down, define them, and live by them. Because when you have a solid internal compass, the world can throw whatever it wants at you, and you'll still be standing. The rules that make you unshakable. Your life isn't shaped by luck, circumstances, or what people think of you. It's shaped by your code. The rules you set for yourself, the principles you refuse to break. Weak people let emotions run their lives. One bad day and their whole mindset crumbles. But the strongest people? They operate on discipline, not mood swings. They don't ask, what do I feel like doing today? They ask, what is the right thing to do? Building a life code that keeps you unstoppable. If you want to be mentally unshakable, start with non-negotiable rules. No exceptions, no excuses. Examples? Here's what a strong life code looks like. My emotions will never control my actions. I train my mind daily. Discipline is a habit, not a choice. No matter how bad things get, I remain calm and composed. I focus on what I can control and let go of the rest. Complaining solves nothing. I look for solutions, not sympathy. Gratitude is my default setting. Wisdom leads, impulse follows. I never compromise my values, even when no one is watching. At first, you'll have to force yourself to live by these rules, but over time, they stop being something you try to follow. They become who you are. You don't struggle to stay calm. You are a calm person. You don't work on being resilient. Resilience is your identity. Why most people feel lost, and how you avoid that trap. Look around. Most people drift through life like a plastic bag in the wind, swayed by trends, influenced by opinions, chasing whatever gives them immediate pleasure. They change their beliefs to fit in. They chase validation. They crumble under pressure because they never built an internal foundation. But when you have a personal life code, you are untouchable. You don't fall for distractions. You don't bow to pressure. You don't waste time on things that don't align with your mission. Buddhist monks live by this philosophy, which is why they don't react to negativity. They don't need external validation. They don't waste energy on things outside their control. Their code is their shield, and that's the real power of having a personal philosophy. It eliminates doubt, emotional instability, and hesitation. You don't waste time figuring out how to react to challenges, because your principles already decided for you. The secret to effortless decision-making. Ever notice how some people hesitate over every decision? They second-guess themselves, overthink, and spiral into stress. But the ones who move through life with confidence, they don't waste time questioning what to do, because their principles already decided for them. If your personal life code says, I honor my commitments, then when temptation knocks, you don't even consider breaking your word. You already know the answer. If your rule is, I stay calm no matter what, then stress doesn't make your choices for you. You stay grounded because that's just who you are. This isn't just a mindset, it's mental armor. Why weak people break and strong people endure. Most people let external chaos dictate their actions. They react instead of responding. They let emotions hijack their decisions. But when you have a personal life code, nothing shakes you. Someone tries to provoke you, you don't bite. Life throws a crisis your way, you handle it with composure. Pressure builds, you stand firm because your foundation is unshakable. This doesn't mean you suppress emotions, it means you master them. Emotional strength isn't about being unfeeling, it's about control. True strength isn't found in aggression or reacting louder than the other person. It's found in the ability to stay calm, clear-headed, and in control no matter what happens. Buddhism teaches that the strongest people are the ones who don't let the outside world dictate their inner peace. They don't get caught up in temporary storms because their mind isn't built on circumstances. It's built on principles. And that's what separates those who thrive from those who struggle. Emotional resilience isn't a switch you flip. It's a lifelong process. But every day you reinforce your personal philosophy. You become wiser, tougher, and more at peace with yourself and the world around you.